There's been mud on my soul, there's been anger inside me, there's still unforgiven deeds that now it's time to free. I've been trapped inside so long, don't remember how to live, how much of life has passed me by as I slept inside my dreams. Oh yes, sip the waters too, let them wash all over you. Here you are at last, free yourself from past and walk into the new. Be guided by what's true, causing no one harm, least of all. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sat-Chit-Ananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase.
Satyam Shivam Sundaram Sansarasaram Abhayankaram Dukhaharam Karunavataram Jyotirmayam Swayambhu Prakriti-Sudaram Shivasmarami Jagat Swami Nirvikaram.
Om Shanti. I care not for the outer voice that deals out praise or blame. I could not with the world rejoice, nor bear its doom of shame. But when the voice within me speaks, the truth to me is known. He sees himself who inward seeks. The riches are his own. The small little voice, the small godly voice, that voice is known as divine consciousness. The small voice of divine intellect, the pure godly consciousness, is always speaking. It is the whisper from beyond. It's the voice from beyond the limited consciousness. And when you don't hear that little voice, you fall down from the grace. When you don't listen to that voice, the outer voices overpowers you. Killing of the inner voice of divine consciousness is perhaps the greatest violence. Self-suicide. Soul is eternal, and yet soul commits suicide when the small divine voice which is within is stifled. We have often heard in Murli this phrase. It's more often written as M rather than N. Ahimsa, Paramodharmah. The greatest religion is the religion of non-violence. What exactly is this non-violence? Is it only about war? Is it only about fighting? Or some deeper connotation? Baba has often said that Bharat is the only non-violent country. It has never attacked any other country. And God has come to establish the new world through non-violence. So there is world of noise and there is world of silence. The new world is established not with noise, but it is established with the power of silence. What is violence? The first definition that we get in Murli is to give sorrow and to take sorrow is violence. When you hurt somebody, it is violence. But when you yourself get hurt, that is also violence. The second definition is lust is the greatest violence. It makes soul come into 100% body consciousness, and it leaves you with a deep sense of guilt consciousness, a drowsiness, a frustration. Why? Because this is the direct attack on the pure and the virtuous nature of the soul. It is the direct fall. It is the act of self-murder. You kill your own inner consciousness, the divine consciousness, the godly consciousness which is within, which is so pure and so sacrosanct. The very act makes the soul fall down, and the higher consciousness is lost, and soul comes down as if a bird whose wings are cut off. And Baba says this is the greatest violence. The third definition of violence is to steal is violence. The things which are not yours, but the things which are Ravan's. If you take those things and you say that they are mine, it's a violence in itself. Other is to deceive, to cheat, is also an act of violence. On one side I say that I am trusty and everything is God's, and on the other side, the consciousness of my and mine fills the entire business. That is an act of deception, self-deception, self-cheating. That's also a sort of violence. The fourth is, another is what you eat. A small girl is asked, "Why don't you eat non-veg?" And she replied to her father, "Animals are my friends, and I am sure we don't eat our friends, and we should not. Anything that flies, anything that moves, and anything that swims, we don't eat. Anything that swims, anything that flies, and anything that walks. To eat is an act of violence." A poet says, "No flock that range this valley, to slaughter I condemn. Taught by the power that pities me, I learn to pity them." No flock means no sheep that range this valley. They are moving here and there. It is not that I hate to kill them. I can kill them and I can eat them. But taught by the power that pities me. There is a power which is within me, above me. That power pities me. And that's why I learn to pity them. Non-violence is an act of mercy, a compassion. In today's Avyakta Murli, Baba has spoken about 3 types of mercy, 3 types of compassion. You are Master merciful. Just as God is loveful and God is merciful, you are also merciful and you are also full of compassion and love. And this is an act of love. What are the 3 types of mercy in today's Murli? 3 types of compassion, 3 types of mercy. One is for the world. A very beautiful word has been used, anjan. That's a better word than calling them agyani. Rather than calling them agyani, so try to replace the word henceforth. Anjan. They do not know, non-knowing, not knowing. To have mercy for them. The second is the mercy for the self, so that you do self-progress. This is mercy, this is Rahim, this is Kripa, this is compassion. And the third, this is a beautiful one. For this Brahmin family you should have mercy. For what reason? So that everybody becomes intense effort maker. So have these 3 types of mercy. This is to become non-violent. When the heart is full of karuna, when the heart is full of mercy, compassion, you don't want to harm anybody. Do not harm is non-violence. Don't do any harm is to be non-violent. So have mercy for the self. Don't harm yourself. Self-cheating, self-deception. I say one thing, I do another. I think one thing, I say another thing and do something different. So there is a disalignment in thought, word and deed. To bring about the alignment is non-violence, is Ahimsa. And there are 3 barriers from today's Murli in this path of non-violence. What are they? Jealousy, dislike and carelessness. Probably these are the only 3 vices at present which are so rampant in this family. If somebody goes ahead of you, you feel jealous and you make every attempt to pull him down. You can't tolerate, hear and stand his praises, appreciation or acknowledgement. So that's jealousy. The second is dislike, but it's a milder word for grina. Grina is strong dislike or hatred amounting to hatred. Strong hatred for no reason. God has come and taught the religion of love. He must be feeling so bad when Brahmins hate each other. The third is carelessness. This is more or less an accepted vice. There is no strong hatred or opposition to this one. Slackness and that whimsical attitude towards the rules, the regulations, the dictates, the commandments of Brahmin life. Slackness in the rules takes you towards the kingdom of vices. So if you want to establish the new world, a non-violent world, the first non-violence should happen within the soul, without which that new world, the outer world, will not get established. To be absolutely non-violent is to become pure, charitable soul, Punyatma. So stop deceiving, stop cheating, stop lying, self-lying, self-hypocrisy. To claim to be intense effort maker, while really you are not, is also an act of hypocrisy. You claim to be a intense, Tivra Purusharthi, effort maker, but in fact, you are not. There is slackness. Intense effort making is not about giving up things. It's not about renouncing things. It's about wakefulness. It's about watchfulness. It is the intense, it is the reawakening. When this awakening is there all the time, you wake up and you are awake. Who am I? You walk, you move, you eat, you do anything. You are awake. In fact, non-violent is to become watchful. There was a man and he used to drink every day. And then he would come home in a drunkard state and would get a good thrashing from his wife. But once it so happened that he drank almost double the doses he takes every day. And he was absolutely inebriated stage, absolutely drowsy. So much so that he fell down at 2-3 places and got bruises and wounds here and there when it was very late. And he knew that if he goes home, his wife will not spare him. So he made a backdoor entry and straight away went to the washroom to do dressings, thinking that the wounds would get healed by next morning. And after doing all the dressings here and there on the face, he slipped into his bed and just slept. His wife was already sleeping. The next day morning, his wife came out of the washroom and said, "What have you done? The mirror is also filled with dressings. So in his intoxicated state, he applied all the bandages and dressings to the mirror. Half awoken state. There is sleepiness, drowsiness, a sort of delirious state. Spiritual delirium, spiritual coma. So unless and until you wake up from this state of inebriation, state of this worldly intoxication, there is no awakening. And unless and until there is awakening, there is no religion. Religion is all about awakening. Wake up. The divine call has already come. Now it's up to us what we do with that call. In today's Murti, Baba said, he told the definition of Vairagya. And what is Vairagya? What is Vairagya? What is disinterest? True disinterest. There is a one-line definition and probably the greatest definition of disinterest. No. That's also a part of it. Not to get influenced, because you already said that the mind and the intellect are yours, and now how can the mind and the intellect is getting influenced by any other third person? That's one part of the story. But what is the definition of Vairag? The real Vairag is, the real disinterest, dispassion is, okay, find out from today's Murli. That's a homework. You give up those things which he doesn't like. That is Vairag. That which he does not like. He doesn't like violence. He doesn't like vices. He doesn't like jealousy. He doesn't like carelessness. He doesn't like this lackadaisical attitude. He wants everyone to become intense effort maker. He is so full of love and so full of mercy. In Mahabharata, there is an Anushashan Parv, different chapters where this word comes for the first time. Ahimsa Paramodharmah, Tata Ahimsa, Parodhamah, Ahimsa Param Dhanam, Ahimsa Param Tapa, Ahimsa Paramo Yagya, Tata Ahimsam Param Balam, Ahimsa Param Mitram, Ahimsa Param Sukham, Ahimsa Param Satyam, Ahimsa Param Shrutam. It's the highest religion, highest self-control. It's the greatest grip, greatest practice, highest sacrifice, finest strength, greatest friend, greatest happiness, highest truth, and greatest teachings. So be non-violent. Your eating and your drinking also should become non-violent. Heavy chewing is also an act of violence. Best is to drink, and slowly. Nothing should get harmed. When you walk and make a lot of noises, that's also an act of violence. So violence is a very subtle thing. They describe so many types of violence, about 400 types of hinsas in the religion, in Jain religion, Jainism. The first Jainism, Ahimsa is the first of the Mahavrat, Panchavrat. In Buddhism, it is the first of the 5 precepts. In Hinduism, it comes under Yama and Niyama. But Baba tells very subtle and the finer definitions of violence. So let non-violence become the religion of life, the highest truth of life. No other creature should get harmed by me. Keep that aim. That is the real mercy, that is the real Rahim. Om Shanti.